Welcome to a very special episode of Coffee and Bottles with Nathusha and Adriana.
Yeah, how are you feeling with everything?
I'm good. I'm good. I really wanted to just have an episode
Yeah,
kind of dedicated to my late grandpa.
yeah,
Um it's still pretty I guess it's still pretty recent.
hmm
I don't know. I know everyone's like, "Oh, time has passed and whatever," but
Not
it's so
not necessarily. It was 3 weeks ago, I want to say,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
soon. I mean, that's and it's your grandpa that you've known all your life.
Yeah.
So,
And
and everyone heals in different ways, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And I
And
think at one point I was like kind of stuck in the denial
hmm
phase. Like I think I'm still there to be honest with you, because I'm just
yeah.
like out of sight, out of mind. Like
Yeah.
he's still there, don't worry.
hmm
But yeah. Sorry,
The
you were gonna say
No, I was going to say that to each their own on the way they they mourn and heal, right? Like if you're someone who can, put it in a box and put it at the back of your mind, then that's great and you probably heal quicker, but you should feel your feelings and you should
yeah,
heal the way you want to, and no matter how much time it takes, you should do it properly and not just stuff it, right? Or like hide it and then it
absolutely.
comes out in another way. So
Exactly. Yeah.
you take your time and you heal the way you need to, and if you need to talk about it, um because that's how you move on. You can't just I don't know people who can just get over things so quickly, and it's like you're burying all those things, it's going to come up in other ways. So
It's true. And I think in
yeah.
a way I kind of was doing that because
Mhm.
I was just like, okay, calm down. Like, I need to just breathe and, everything's okay. Like,
Yeah.
I'll just, I'll be okay. Like, I'll get through it. And,
Mhm.
like, in weird ways, you're right. It kind of like, it would just come up. Like, it's something very small would
Yeah.
trigger it.
Mhm.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah, like even food, because
Mhm.
he would always, you know, get be there for us with food. Like that was his thing. That was his like he would always buy food for us, and he would just be like, "Oh, I bought this for you guys, so make sure you eat it." So it was just
Yeah. And that's how he showed love, right? That's how he
mhm.
cared for you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, he
Sorry, I might have
it,
to
it
pause a few times.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I really want to talk about it though.
Yeah. No,
I
you
really do.
keep talking.
Mhm. Okay, you talk right now.
Tell me a little bit about him. I I think before you continue to talk, I just want to say that
Mhm.
we're with everything that's happening right now, it's it's not you weren't spending every day with him. You weren't allowed to see him.
Mhm.
So it just makes it 10 times harder than it already is,
Yeah, I think that was the
right?
part that hurt the most because
Hmm.
at one point I was like, I just saw him last week, but we were, 6 feet apart, had
Yeah.
masks on outside,
Hmm.
I've obviously the girls and I and my husband stood outside and he was inside because it was too cold for them, but
Yeah.
it was um like that that was the last interaction that we had.
Hmm.
So yeah, you're right. It's been really tough with all the social distancing that's been going on.
Hmm. Yeah, and when someone's in the hospital, sometimes you get to go see them. You can
Mhm.
talk to them for the last time. Like you have those abilities, and in this situation, you didn't get that opportunity. So
Exactly. Yeah,
it's
at one
it's
point it was like it was kind of considered dangerous because I am expecting. So
yes.
like I even if I wanted to, couldn't.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's hard because you really didn't get the closure that you needed, right? So
Hmm.
no wonder it's going to take you a little bit longer to heal and to
Yeah.
move on, right?
Yeah, so uh for those of you who don't know, my grandparents from my mom's side lived with us for, oh geez, for ever since I was 2 years old, came to
Oh wow.
Canada, and they were living with us shortly after, like maybe a few years after that.
Hmm.
And yeah, up until I got married and moved out. Actually, no, that's a lie, because we still lived with them
Oh
for
wow.
I think a month or so after
Yeah.
we got married.
Hmm.
So it's been closer to maybe pretty much more than half of my life.
Yeah.
um, so we were close, even though it didn't seem like it at times.
Yeah.
Even though I had my teenage angst and everything.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Um,
actually, I was going to say, it is tough right now. And, day by
yes.
day, I'm getting through it. The girls, it actually helps a lot to be around the girls because they distract me. And it was funny because I was trying to have a conversation with Elsa about it because
Hmm.
she's
Yeah.
obviously knows them a bit more than the youngest. And
Hmm.
I was just like, okay, uh, I had no idea how to describe it. So I was
Yes.
starting off with saying things like, they're not on this world anymore. So then she was thinking, oh, like in space. And I was like, okay,
Let's try
no,
something
let's
else.
not go
Yeah.
that direction. And I was like, he, he, he's not, doing well. And so he's going to be resting for a long time. But then that just like completely had to cut that as well because that just got really confusing, even for me. Because when I was saying it, I was like, wait, that doesn't make sense. So then
Yeah.
thankfully, I was like thinking more like scientifically. So I was kind of
Hmm.
like, okay, well, like, he cannot breathe anymore. And he's not,
Oh.
like I was like, he won't be able to sleep and he won't be able to walk. And I actually got this idea from an article because I was really struggling with how to say
Yeah.
it. So I eventually had to say that his body's not working anymore. And that was like, okay, right? Like I
Hmm.
got that look of like, all right, mom, where are you going with this? So
Yeah.
then I don't know, fortunately, not fortunately, the girls love Disney.
Hmm.
And, surprisingly, there's a lot of themes of death in those movies.
Hmm.
Even thinking of
Yes.
The Lion King, Moana, obviously Coco, like, but
Yeah.
so they're too young for some of those. So Moana and Frozen had a few instances in those movies. Um,
Yes.
so I was kind of saying, okay, in Frozen, the mom and dad, they're lost at sea, like they don't come back, right? So then she's like, okay. So then
Hmm.
she's watching the movie and she's like, wait, but like they're there, they're in the snow. And I'm like, no, like part of the water, it's the memories.
Yeah.
So then we're watching Moana and the grandma, you know,
Yes.
also,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, like, but she turns into a stingray, and like that's her spirit. Like her spirit then helps guide Moana through this journey.
Hmm.
So it was kind of funny because every time I got really, really upset about it, the oldest one would be like, "Don't worry, Mama, they're in the memories."
Oh.
She was just, we call him Bakung, so that she was just like, Bakung's in the memories. It's okay. He's in the memories. Or she'd be
Oh.
like, don't worry. He's a spirit. He'll guide you home, or he's like he'll turn into something. So it was like,
That's so
okay, like
sweet.
it touched me and it helped me so much with like grieving because I was just like
Oh.
absolutely right. Like, my little, at the time, 3-year-old is helping me grieve for my late grandpa. So,
Oh. And she's just, and that's the beautiful thing. She's not worried about what she's going to say or, walking on eggshells. She just says it. But
exact.
yeah.
And was like, it was exactly what I needed at that time. And I have a story to tell you. Like, you know how in some of our past episodes we talk about, like, you know, um, possible. Okay, I don't want to freak you out,
Yeah. It's like,
but
wait,
um,
where's this going?
it's so like okay. Well, I was really, really. I don't think it'll be scary for you because
Okay.
it was very beautiful for me. But having a really, really, really tough time. I had just gone to the washroom. I was bawling my eyes out. So
Mm-hmm.
then I came back into the kitchen and playing on our Google Home
Yeah.
was one of the new songs from Taylor Swift's album, my favorite one, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was just playing. And I was like, what happened? Because my phone was sitting on the counter. And yeah, and I asked my husband, and he said, nope, I didn't say anything. Like I was on my phone, like I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So it just played, and instantly I felt so much better. Like I was just
Oh,
like, thank you. It was a thing.
it. No, it's like I'm just gonna say it. It's like he was there and he played the song and he was trying to make you feel better.
Yeah.
I
And
truly believe it.
I believe it too. And honestly, and this is where like I get really emotional thinking about this because it is it was always his favorite,
Mm,
and he actually taught both me and my sister to love music
mm,
because when we were younger, like we would well, my sister would go to school because she was older than me,
yeah.
and I'd be at home, and the radio was just on all the time. Like their radio was on. I'd be listening to, what we call oldies.
Yeah.
But I knew all of those oldies. It
Oh,
was because of my grandpa.
and and
And
you have those memories. That's amazing. Like every time you listen to a
ex
song.
exactly. And the most amazing part is listening to music. I know because I did in undergrad, I think I did some research on
Hmm.
like therapy, and it really is healing. Like it can really, really change you. It can almost, there were some crazy studies about helping people with cancer. Like that's how powerful.
Wow.
Yeah, and I totally believe it because
Yeah.
even sometimes when I'm feeling down, I'll listen to some music and it just makes me feel much better.
Yeah. No, of course. Um, well, even with I know with like some animals and like if they're having behavioral issues, they'll play some music for them, music therapy, right?
Yes.
And
I
I think with
know.
human beings as well.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah, it's true.
it's quite healing.
Mhm.
So you said that you spent most of your life basically
Yeah,
living with him and really getting to know him.
yeah.
Um, did your did Elsa and Anna get the opportunity to really spend a lot of time with him?
So they did. Luckily, we did, like, even during quarantine, we did a few, we'd let them spend some time at my parents' house
Mm-hmm.
for like 2 weeks. So it was
Yeah.
kind of like they were quarantining together.
Yeah.
Mm. Whereas we would kind of have our own like time to do things around the house at home. So we would just
Yeah.
kind of cut them off. So we did that a few times, and I'm really, really, really glad we did because otherwise, like, yeah, it would have they wouldn't have much time. But we were
No.
also very fortunate, like pre-COVID, we would all have dinner almost like Friday nights, and like we would see each other quite often.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even like before moving, or even like before we knew we were moving, we saw each other all the time. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So they got to spend quite a bit of time with him as well. That's amazing.
they did. Yeah,
Yeah.
and honestly, it's what my husband keeps saying. Who, by the way, has been absolutely amazing through all of this.
Aw.
Um, but yeah, it's what he keeps saying. Like my grandpa was very fortunate because he did uh, get to meet great grandchildren, whereas that's not always the case, right?
Yeah.
Not
No.
everyone. So it was a luxury, and we understand that.
Mm. Well, he sounds like he lived a very full, happy life with lots of
Yes,
family around, which is really all one can ask for, right? So,
yes, exactly. And that's what I keep reminding
mhm.
myself about too, right? Because like again, going back to like Lion King, it's a
Yeah,
circle of life.
it's the
And
circle of life, yes.
yes, it really is. I watched that movie and I felt so much better because I was like, you are right again, Disney.
Yeah. Oh, Disney.
I know, right? Like they really just know how to get you.
Yeah, and they thought of everything.
Yes, they really did. And it's amazing because like I was saying, Moana and Frozen, these are movies that are suitable for like the girls,
Hmm.
who are quite young, but they still manage to have like, you know, those type of things.
Yeah,
And I think it's so important. It's so important.
I think when um when looking back at his memories and looking at how that information was relayed to them, they'll remember it and they'll
Mhm.
appreciate what you did and actually take the time to explain it to you. I remember when my grandpa passed away, I just kind of knew from other people and because people were crying and visiting, but no
Mhm.
one really sat me down and said, "This is what happened. This is
Right.
how he passed," and all those things. And that you still remember that, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. So I think for sure they'll appreciate it. They'll look back and they'll remember all the great memories and they'll remember how much you loved him as well.
Yeah.
Um, no, that definitely matters on the way you handled it. And I think you handled it beautifully.
Thank you. In so we had the funeral,
Hmm.
and because of COVID times,
Yes.
it we had to bring the girls. So like, every single time everyone was like, "Oh, normally kids don't come to this." I'm like, "Yeah, but really, we're in a lockdown." So,
Like,
you know,
where are you supposed to leave them?
exactly. Can you watch them or like what's happening here?
Yeah.
So, and I get that. Like I understand why it could be very traumatic for kids, but that's why I, purposely tried to choose a spot that was a bit far away and they couldn't really see like very much.
Hmm.
I mean, they just sat for the service, trying to be as quiet as possible. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But also in I don't know how I would handle it when I have to bring Mowgli's to a funeral, but um maybe it's an opportunity for them to say their goodbyes as well, or to see him for
Yes.
one last time. I don't, that's another way of looking at it.
Absolutely. And actually, that's a really good point because until this day, my sister brings up, because she was older than me,
Yeah.
she'll bring up that she regrets, like, she really wishes that we were able to attend our late uncle's funeral because she
Hmm.
never got a chance to say bye.
Oh, wow.
And she does remember more of him than I do. And
Hmm.
she was really, really upset by his death.
Then yeah, that opportunity should have been given to her. And
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know about you, but whenever I think of a funeral, I actually like get nervous around them. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to attend them. I don't feel good attending them. I don't know what to do while I'm there. It's
Yeah.
just incredibly uncomfortable. Um,
Yeah.
and I think if we were given the opportunity to attend, just a few while growing up, the ones
Mhm.
that really mattered, I think
Mhm.
that would help as well, where you would see the event as a way of saying your goodbyes, and
Mhm.
as a more, it is a sad event, but not as traumatizing or not as scary, right? Like,
Yeah. Yes,
so,
I agree with you. Yeah, because then,
mhm.
yeah, it is your chance to say bye.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, I think things are changing. I know, like, my parents were the same, that we never attended funerals ever.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and it's to kind of protect you, right, from whatever it is that a funeral is, but it's a part of life, and you have to start learning about those things sometime, right?
Exactly. And like the ironic part is for us as parents now,
Hmm.
we try our very best to shield them. We
Yes, of
try
course.
so hard to protect them, to keep them
Yeah.
safe, to do all things so that they don't have to make any mistakes. And it's
Hmm.
like we need to let go of that
Yeah.
thinking a little bit and just let them experience things.
No, no, I understand. Like, you're all the big scary things in the world, you want to protect them from it, but at the end of the day, we're here we're here to teach them and to help them
Hmm.
grow and understand the world and move through the world. And
Yes.
if we can't give them those experiences or educate them about it, then they're going to be left kind of short-handed and short-sighted on all the different things that are going to come up in life.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
so so I understand what you're saying. It's like, at the end of the day, we want independent and functioning adults.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and we're we're the ones who have to give that to them. We're the ones who have to help them with that.
Exactly. I've missed you so much. Like
Oh, I
you're
miss
just
you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been a while. I did miss you quite a bit. I'm like, oh, we're not recording today. Yeah.
I know. I missed you too. I wanted to call you some days, but I was like, no, like I'm just gonna be sobbing the whole
No,
time
no,
because I.
you should call me. Like whenever you want to call. In that whole situation, if you needed someone to talk to, I would definitely be there. I may not know the right things
Oh,
to say, but I'm always a good listener. That's one thing.
oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome.
And honestly, talking to you today has made me feel so much better. Like
Oh,
obviously, I talked to Nish about it and like my family,
yeah.
but talking to you is just like it was very. It was exactly what I needed, just
Mhm.
to talk about memories, but even like you said, let myself kind of feel those emotions. I think it's
Yes.
so important because I
Very
tend to
important.
do that. Like I hide my emotions sometimes
Mhm.
and I repress them because I'm like, no, no, be strong for the kids, like be strong. Like
Yeah.
hold it together.
No, of
But
course.
you're right.
We're not that fortunate where we could be completely what's the word? Vulnerable. Is it
Yes.
vulnerable? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it is.
Like life still goes on, right? Kids need to be fed and
Exactly.
bills need to be paid. Like all those things are still going to happen as an adult. So, no, I'm happy that you got that opportunity to just and I'm not Nish. Like I don't know anything about your grandpa, so it's an opportunity to actually talk to him, talk about him, right? And
hmm
to share stories. And that's what's the word? I don't want to say cathartic. No, that's not it.
It no, it kind of is.
Is
It
it?
kind
Yeah.
of is. It helps me grieve in a healthier way than what I would.
Mhm.
Like I said, I was having a lot of, really vivid dreams, again, because of all the hormones too. Like
Yeah.
already I was dreaming about eating food like
Mhm.
nonstop for my
Yeah.
whole however many hours I was asleep. But then I started having dreams about my grandpa. And it was like the smallest thing. It was like, okay, like I'm in a parking lot and I'm looking for my car, but all I can see is his car.
Oh.
Like it was just those things. And then I'd
Yeah.
wake up sobbing and it was like, but I wouldn't deal with it. Like I'd tell Nish and then I'd cry and then I'd be like, okay, it's fine. Right? Like it's like
Like
the show
snap
must
out
go
of it, sort of. Yeah.
on. Yeah, but now, like I said, just even telling you about that, it is cathartic. It's
Mhm.
nice.
You're getting it off your chest and it's out in the
Yes.
universe.
Yeah.
Do you
Yes, exactly.
follow us on Facebook and Instagram and feel free to tag us at hashtag Coffee and Bottles Podcast. Thank you for listening to Coffee and Bottles. Keep sipping on.